damn, that whole game was just so, wow. You know, I think I know what I need. You know, sometimes when I'm frustrated, it's good to go to the gym and just work out a bit of that energy. And sometimes what I like to do is base my workouts on the performance of our team. Let's go. Come on. No, wait, that's the wrong team. $1,998. $1,999. I do 1 rep for every defensive zone turnover. Still catching up from the regular season. Wait, that's not enough weight. How much does the whole roster weigh? Hey, it's series. Hey, good luck next round. Hey, nice job out there. Hey.
The drive, save, rebound is loose. Sagan kicks it loose. There's the line. Posted it up. He scores! Delayed offside is right as the Bruins bring it on. It's Marchand with it. The net. Jersey jam. Tanoa to right. Tanoa for right. He just won. Sam Bennett.
Give him a boy.
Bruins
lose.
You guys better appreciate that cold open, man. I'm in hell. Bees lose 3-1 at home in Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Quarterfinals against the Buffalo Sabres. Goals scored in order by Tanner Jeannot, Bowen Byram, Alex Tuck, and Noah Ostlund. The win goes to Alex Lyon, who made 24 saves on 25 shots for a .960 save percentage. The loss goes to Jeremy Swayman, who made 25 saves on 27 shots for a .926 save percentage. I'm not sure that the Bruins are keeping track of any of those things, though. Save percentage, shots, goals, wins. It seems like they treat everything with about the same level of urgency as a 75% practice. If you want a recap of the game's events, check my other video. It'll be linked in the bio. It's called Southeast Booth. It's when I watch the games and also give commentary on them, like live commentary. Think Doc Emmerich, but less good at talking. So like Joe Biden. Playoff game. What we just watched was a playoff game. I know that it was a playoff game. You know that it was a playoff game. I'm not sure anyone else other than Buffalo did. I don't think the rest knew that it was a playoff game because they didn't call it like one. They didn't really even call it like a regular season game or a hockey game. They picked every 4th or 5th thing they saw and threw someone to the box for it, regardless of its legality. They called Krebs for a roughing in the first period. That is never a penalty. Never. It's not a penalty during the preseason. It's certainly not a penalty in the postseason. They then completely missed the most obvious elbow of all time. Tuck I called it live as it was happening from my room in Los Angeles. So I'm hoping someone on the ice might have seen it. Elbowed Lohrei right in the face, no call. Tuck immediately scores a goal. I don't know, 30 seconds later, not immediately, whatever. I'm not really here to complain about the refs. Because if the refs were the biggest problem in that game, if you think the refs were the biggest problem in that game, ooh, you weren't watching what I was, I almost wouldn't blame you. I mean, I would, because it was a playoff game. But I can't really hold it against you too much if you didn't show up since the Bruins didn't. That was the most lackadaisical performance, maybe since I started making videos. Before the series, I gave 5 keys. It is like they know about them and are actively trying to undermine each of them. So from the top level production. Arvidsson got us closest. He had a penalty shot. He got a good shot on. Line made a good save. Line was very sharp today. We were lucky to get that penalty shot. Samuelson's stick exploding in the middle of play, essentially unprompted, was not something I counted on, not something he counted on. I think Dahlin made the right decision to take the penalty shot. Generally, I think it's better if you can to take the penalty shot rather than the organic breakaway, just because unless the angle's bad or the carrier's bad of the puck, it's easier for the goalie to orient themselves between the post and forward and backwards in their crease on a penalty shot. They know exactly where they want to be, where they might suspect the shooter to go, rather than just a snap reaction like, oh, here he comes, let's do something. So I think it was a decent play by Dahlin. I think it was a good attempt on the penalty shot by Arvidsson. And I'm not going to put the weight of the nation on Victor Arvidsson. Nothing against him. He's been outstanding, but that's not the guy. If you're going to pick one guy, that can't be the guy. It isn't the guy. It hasn't been the guy even. So Arvidsson gets a pass. Zaka's been good enough. He actually had a pretty decent chance in the mid-low slot on the power play, which didn't go because Lyon scouted it out better than Luukkonen did in the last game. Lyon played better than Luukkonen. I do not see them going back to Ukko-Pekka in this series unless something happens. But as a matter of fact, the top line production wasn't there tonight. None of the top six scored. The only goal came from Tanner Jeannot. The only other point, I think, on the entire team came from Charlie McAvoy. I think it was the only assist on the Jeannot goal, which was our only goal of the game. You're not going to win with Tanner Jeannot as your only goal scorer. One, because when is he scoring more than one goal? And two, Tanner Jeannot cannot be the only goal scorer. I'm happy for him. The fourth line's been our best line through the last part of the season. Fourth or second, probably second actually. But fourth line's been very good right at the conclusion especially. And now Corrali, Kastelik, and Jeannot all have a goal in the last 5 games, 6 games or whatever, which is great. I love to see that. You love to see a grinder get a goal, but it's not a recipe for actual success. And with Pasternak not firing, something's up there. His shots today on the power play, when we had plenty of those, and he got chances, and the shots didn't look good. It didn't look like he was connecting. Pasta wasn't there today. Geeky, I thought, played maybe a little better. Elias Lindholm, he kind of just turns invisible sometimes. You don't really even think about what he's doing. So if we're going to win, I mean, I know I said this earlier and I keep saying this, but if we're going to win, we need that top line production. And they've been productive throughout the series. I will say the game 1 Pasta 3-point game seems a little bit, unethical to me. Just kind of seems like stuff happened. But, points are points, I guess. But, in this game, there were no points, and you see what happens when that well truly dries up. Point 2, activating the youth. I believe it is true that Hagens, Kuznetsov, and Minten, the youth line, the Cub line, I've seen people call it, that's kind of cute, have no points this series. I know it's only 3 games in, and they're bottom 6 forwards technically, and, you're not always going to get production from every line at every time in a series. But 2 of the 3 of them were pretty significant depth goal scorers for the Bruins. I think they combined between the 2 of them for 30 plus goals. Minten had 34 points, I think, on the nose. Kuznetsov probably not terribly far off, or maybe had more, I don't actually know. And they do other things for the team, and they've been doing them well. The penalty kill's been very good. I think Fraser Minten's been excellent in his own end, something that people overlook. Kuznetsov, that kid's got heart and hustle and everything. I didn't include him in the earlier part of the video with the skit. Yeah, crucify me. But he wins pucks. He goes up against anyone. He doesn't slow down or pull out just because it's a bigger guy, one of their gigantic defensemen or Tage Thompson or whatever. But production is what we need. The offense dried up towards the end of the season, and we never really permanently corrected that. We had good games and bad games, but we need production, and this combination of youth is not working. Hagens is a different situation, of course, than Kuznetsov and Minten. He did not have an NHL season to get ready. He had 2 games. Now he's had 5 games. This is his 5th game in the NHL. His 3rd playoff game and 5th in the NHL. Good recipe. So how are we feeling about Hagens? I had my misgivings. I'm seeing more misgivings online. I don't think he's been terrible, but there have just been the puck kind of deflecting off his stick. I'm not quite knowing where to track the play, maybe not used to the movement of the puck or whatever it is. I just feel like when you have all those forwards scratched, Reichel, Steves, Esamont, Is it really a good idea to keep trotting out the same line that isn't producing anything? That brings me to my next point. Point 3 and 4. Let's call it point 7. Flexibility. Flexibility on offense, flexibility on defense. On offense, we have 3 scratches: Reichel, Esamont, and Steves. On defense, we have 2, Yoki Haru and Harris. I think you need to consider inserting some of them, one of them, several of them, into the lineup at some point, if you're interested in winning the series. I don't want to sit here and pretend that there are no issues of talent. There are issues of talent. We cannot compete with Buffalo with certain matchups on the ice. They are simply so much more talented than we are. Defense in particular is an issue. And I'm not saying that Yoki Haru or Harris especially, is light years better or even necessarily at all better than the team we're putting out on the ice, though really Peak and Lorei and Lindholm all leave a lot to be desired right now. I know that Stern's resources are limited. I know that he has the 5 scratches. I know that he has only a finite amount of things he can do to the lines that aren't insane, like, Jeannot first line center or whatever. I know that there is only so much you can do without it just being desperate rearranging, like when you're trying to figure out what your max chemistry is in a shell lineup. So you just move a guy up, move a guy down, move a guy to the right, move a guy to the left. We live in the real world. That's not the kind of thing that happens. You can't overhaul the team, and there's nothing to overhaul it with. But there is a running clock, kind of. The running clock is the end of a series you lose. And if you lose that series without making any changes, especially if you lose that series just by kind of descending slowly, like a ship taking on water near the shore, we're like, yeah, maybe you'll reach it, but you could just get into lifeboats and definitely do it. I don't spend a lot of time at sea. Maybe there's a rationale. I'm sure the company doesn't want to scrap the ship. But again, the company or human lives, the idea of future development for some people, of a synergy that doesn't really exist, or the idea of maybe, somehow, maybe if it doesn't even make sense, maybe if you can't anticipate how, just changing something and seeing what happens. What's the worst that can happen? Really, what's the worst that can happen if we change the lines? We lose? I think we're trending that way. What's the worst that can happen if you get into the lifeboat? They capsize and then you drown? Yep. Maybe I should have scrapped that one on the writing room. But for a team that's had at least intermittent liability level performances, not to do anything kind of just seems like surrender or aporia or just throwing the hands up in one way or another. I don't think that that's acceptable. I don't know what you have to change. I don't even know if you have to change necessarily the 18 guys on the ice. Really don't want one of peak Lorei in next game when Yoki Haru is there, and I think just a comparable hockey player to them. But if you want to stick with the guys because they've been getting the reps and you've convinced yourself that there exists some synergy between them that I don't see, but that you see, and you're the coach, fine. It can't be the same lines. If you keep that first line and that third line the same, the first line especially after game 3, the third line after the first 3 games, if you keep those lines the same and march them out, do you know what the definition of insanity is? Of course you do, because it's become so overwrought. I'm not even sure that's true. I don't know. I don't look in dictionaries. I don't even own one. Yeah, I don't think I own one. But wouldn't you rather go out trying something crazy than just slowly watching a series slip away from you? I'm not even saying it is slipping away from us. There's another game at home. We could tie the series, and we've been excellent at home. And Buffalo's been excellent away. If we don't win the next game, it's a must win, right? Do you think there's any chance we come back down 3-1 against Buffalo? 2 games on the road where we've just been bad kind of all season, especially down the stretch? I don't see that reality. Michael DiPietro Lover on Instagram has come to save me from the agony of my own thoughts. Michael DiPietro Lover, what is your question of the day? It is, who should play on the first power play? That's an excellent question, and a question with, I think, a ton of correct answers. McAvoy and 4 forwards. I'm almost okay with any names filling in there. We have scored 2 power play goals this series. Depending on how many chances you get, that's not necessarily bad, but we've had a fair amount of chances that puts our percentage in the teens. So not great, not unimaginable, better than Buffalo's. Of course, anything is better than Buffalo's. I invite you to recall, however, that one of those power play goals was a garbage goal, the backhand from Pasternak that caught a deflection and somehow ended up getting past Luukkonen in game 1 when the game was already lost. So really, we have one power play goal. And that one wasn't exactly a great shot either. Today, the game I'm talking about, we had 2 power plays inside 10 minutes of the third period where we trailed by 1. They didn't look like they could do anything at all. We struggled to even get the puck into the zone, and when we did, a couple shots, maybe, but nothing that threatening. Lyon was good, but you have to find a way in that situation to get the goal. You have to. And it didn't feel like we got terribly close, except for maybe one shot that caught his shoulder and then went off the crossbar. Maybe you only get one really good chance every 4 minutes of power play, but if you're not getting it, and if you're having the power play that's so weak at the start of the game that you're giving up odd man rushes consistently, I think you need to look at just trying someone different. Thank you, Michael DiPietro Lover, for your question. If you're interested to hear more from him, check him out on Instagram, link in my bio. Check me out on Instagram, link in my bio. Now it's time for some BS with SB. Let's mix it up today. I'm all about flexibility. I'm going to read the submission first, answer it, then I'll tell you who sent it. Probably won't mean anything to you if you don't know who the person is, but I think it could be fun. Question 1. I guess it's a statement. Back to 1 goal again. Break up line 3. 92, 93, 88. That's Kuznetsov, Minton, and Pasternak. And 39, 28, 44. That's Geeky, Elias Lindholm, and Hagens. Line 3. I'm fine with that. I'm really fine with any combination. Like I said, I'm not going to sit here and say, if you don't do this particular thing, that's what's wrong. I'm fine with really any attempt. I just want an earnest attempt to do something different and get something sparked. Both of those lines were unacceptable today. And really the third line hasn't done a damn thing all series. So let's mix it up. That one from friend of the show, Mara Kuznetsov enthusiast. If you're new around here, he made my intro, so thanks. Next submission. Who's your favorite replacement for Laurai? We scratched him earlier this season and did just fine. Please, Yoki Haru. I've been a Yoki Haru truther this whole time. First of all, Buffalo revenge game. We see how well that's working out for Middlestat. Not necessarily indicative of the population. And Yoki Haru was good to the end of the season, and he was productive on offense. Try it. I'm just saying, try it. Try something. Anything. It'll be fun. It'll be fun to see him. He'll get to play in a playoff game. We're not giving handouts here. He's an NHL defenseman. He's an NHL defenseman as much as half of our NHL defensemen are. Our defense is bad. It's bad. It's the weakest part of the team by a country mile. So, yeah, try it. Yoki Haru. That's my pick. That one from friend of the show, Silly Yoli. Next one. Laurai. That's it. The entire decor is awful. No reason for Lindholm to wear the A. Effing Zadorov is B. Should be wearing it? That's what I'm going to assume you mean. Yeah, I mean, I know it's not going to happen. From what I've seen this season, if you put the C on Zadorov, I wouldn't hate it. You can't do it with long-tenured Pasternak, long-tenured McAvoy, and people from our own program. But, man, that's a Boston Bruin. That's a guy you love to have on your team. So happy he's here. He has not really pissed me off all season. That contract is good, and Sweeney deserves some credit for it. As for Laurai, I have been low on him, and I have been medium on him, and then I've gone back to low again. I just don't think he's well suited for the style of play. His defensive pair is Hampus Lindholm, which you touch on is not. I don't think that's a good pairing. I think that's a bad pairing. I don't think they work well together. Hampus is very slow. Laurai is very fast. I see the thought process there. The problem is Laurai is not very good at defending. He's really mostly a forward that we force to play defense. And Hampus isn't good at skating. So if you have somebody who's not great at defense and somebody who's not great at getting to where the puck is, there's going to be a lot of opportunities where you just have turnovers and then a lack of ability to recover from them. That one from friend of the show, Poitras.glazer.51. Another one. This one's fun. I was there in person for my first game ever. Honestly, not surprised. Still fun game. And then, I don't know, what do you call that emoji? Emoji? No, that wasn't it. Yeah, I'm going to keep this take. Yeah, that is the emoji. I've been to a few Bruins games in my time. We lose almost all of them. I've been to losses in Boston. I was at a loss in Detroit. In the 2022-2023 season, we lost in regulation. We barely did that all season, but I made sure to see one. I did see a win, an overtime win in LA this season. Geeky got the winner. Thank you, Morgan. And I saw losses. You want to know how old I am? Here's real unk status. I saw the Bruins lose in Atlanta. What were we doing losing to the Thrashers? But good for you for having a good time. You have to have a good time. I enjoyed the losses that I went to. I didn't enjoy that we lost, but I had a good time. These are fun places to watch hockey games. These are fun events to attend. And as much energy as we pour into this team, and as much as I maintain it is perfectly okay to be disappointed or sad or mad when your team loses because you pour in that energy and it matters to you, and it's good to have things that matter to you, it's also good and well-adjusted and mature to be able to enjoy an experience for what it is, on the whole, even if the attendance circumstances of that experience aren't the best, aren't optimal. But I'm glad you had a good time. Hope you get to go to another one. Hope you get to see a win sometime. That one was from FraserEdits.93. And our last one. Hagens isn't ready. Put Reichel in. He actually forechecks unlike the first and third line. I am all for pro-Reichel propaganda. I'd put him in, even though I don't think the stylistic matchup is good. He reminds me a little bit of Kuznetsov. I think Kuznetsov has a higher ceiling already, kind of obviously. But they're both fast. They're both willing to go into the harder areas. They both seem unafraid, despite being a little smaller, despite being a little bit more of a shifty, fast player. And I think he's different. I'm not convinced about Hagen. I think Hagens has looked okay through stretches. I think he's been put into a brutal situation early on, which was kind of the concern. I think a year of the ELC is wasted, and that's really what bums me more. But put Reichel in, put Reichel in. Try something. Just see what he does. He's fast. Speed matters. These mechanical, almost quantifiable, how fast you can do this, how fast you can do that, these things matter. If you're really fast, or if you're really strong, or if you can shoot really hard, there will be situations during a hockey game where you can use those attributes to your advantage. It's not a video game where the guy with 97 speed is better than the guy with 91 speed, but it is the real world where if you can skate faster, you can get to the puck first as opposed to somebody skating slower. So yeah, I'm all for it. Nothing really against Hagens with that even, just for Reichel. That one, and I cannot stress this enough, is from Hagens Lover. Good for you for being objective. It can be difficult at a time like this. Game 4 is on Sunday at, I believe, 2 p.m. Eastern, because I think it's 11 a.m. here. Oh, talk about curtain jerker. I'm usually not awake until 4. If I get to 50 subscribers before then YouTube will let me live stream the game. And if I get to 50 subscribers before then, I will absolutely do that. One taking this one, whatever take this is, it is, because I stopped shooting the video a couple hours ago. I was editing a different one, the Southeast booth, whatever. I was scrolling my Instagram, because, you need editing breaks. You need breaks from everything. I was scrolling my Instagram, and I saw Pasternak standing in front of his locker. My God, that guy gets interviewed by everyone, and it always ends up on my feed. I guess I am a Bruins content creator. And it was, it was a tight checking game. We have to do better. Do you know how many more we have to do betters you get this season? One. You can say that one more time. If you have to say that twice in the next 4 games, well, you'll only get to say it once, because the next time you say, that's something we work on next season. You have one, we have to do better left. Don't even bother about thinking about using it. I'm sick and tired of seeing him after the game. Sad face, mopey, tight checking game, tough, you have to do better. Do it! Do it! Game after game after game. One goal. We put up 5 on Carolina and then lose anyway. And then we solve our offensive woes in 3 of our last 10 games. And simple as. Oh my goodness. There's no more we have to do better. It's do better. Now. You have to win. You know what? There is no one more game. If you say at the end of the next game we have to do better, it will be too late. It will be too late. Because then you'll have to win 3-2 on the road. This team doesn't do that. Sorry, hasn't happened this year. Yeah, have to do better. Have to have a different roster. Oh. I don't even know where I'm going to put this in the video. Maybe I'll make this the end instead. I had a different ending, but it was just kind of Nothing. So anyway, our next game's on Sunday. We have to do better in it. And I will, regardless of the outcome, I'll probably just post the same things. Southeast booth, live reactions to the big events of the game. I shoot the whole video and then I shoot the whole game, my reactions. And then I just cut it down. Oh, I found the spring that goes in this chip clip. That was good. That was on my seat. You guys might remember I lost that in the last video, but have to do better. I mean, he's right. They do have to do better. It's just I cannot keep hearing him say that as the only answer for what's happening with this team. Yeah, you do, David. You do have to do better. Go Bees.